just how bad was the flooding? Let me show you exactly how bad. You can see right here, for some perspective, I stand about 6 feet tall. This is the water line of where the flooding came at the height last night because of the 10 inches of rain that we saw here. Well, one of the issues, guys, if I can show you real quick of what we're dealing with now, is something we frankly hadn't dealt with before, and that's water. 12 people would be killed in Pleasant Grove that day. Their names now etched in stone. On this same memorial, a thank you to all the volunteers who answered the call that day. And Sarah, we want you to meet one of those couples, Naomi and Tom Martin from Indiana. They were on their way back from Florida, and this is certainly a trip you won't soon forget. But monuments like this one ensure that at least for one day out of the year, those memories and those emotions don't have to be felt alone. Getting a shot in the arm is one of the keys to help making sure teachers can teach students inside the classroom. Here in St. Clair County, today was the first step in making that possible. At the end of May, all of those SEC baseball teams will be right here at the Met, and the restaurants in the city say they're waiting and ready for them to be here. Joshua Black told an FBI agent that he stormed the United States Capitol because he was called by God. Today, that agent here in a Birmingham courtroom testified that Black also said, while reluctant, he would do it again. And to those who live here in the Windsor neighborhood tell me this lake, in often cases, was the reason that they moved here, but they say a development next door to them and the runoff by it has changed the way that this lake looks, and now they want it fixed. This lake was once a source of pride. For the last year, it's been an eyesore.
Our lake turned from being a beautiful emerald green to a muddy, well, it just looked like a mud puddle.
Donna Ware says this is the reason. The expanding Stockton neighborhood built by Signature Homes. Drone pictures show how runoff has filtered downhill. Residents first approached the city about the problem back in November 2020. A silt curtain at first kept the runoff at bay, but now it isn't working.
There's a right way and a wrong way to do this. People who know, who have walked their site, have said that they did not do things in a right way.
Ware and other neighbors took their concerns to Alabama's Department of Environmental Management. A consent decree was agreed to and a fine of $20,000 was issued, but construction kept going.
I have to say the city council members, all 5 of them, have been most supportive. I think the mayor is a little more reluctant, but he did issue the order, so we're grateful for that.
This stop work order issued this week prevents general construction, but today we still saw crews working on site. Scott Holt spent $8,000 on a new deck for his grandchildren to enjoy days like this.
Our kids haven't been swimming, they haven't gone fishing. I have a little trawler boat, and it hasn't left its mooring. It's impossible.
The mayor's office tells ABC 3340 News a meeting between all parties is planned for Friday.
I think something's going to be done. I hope so. I want my grandchildren to have their lake back.
Now, we reached out to the developer Signature Homes as well as the engineering firm that's helping, Spectrum Environmental. Neither of them returned our request for comment. Reporting live here in Trussville, Stephen Quinn, ABC 3340 News. We attempted to ask the governor's office twice today. Let's first let you listen to what the governor told me Tuesday about state lawmakers' efforts to pass 2 bills challenging parts of the federal mandate.
Those bills may be politically popular, but they are not going to be very effective, because if you have a state law in conflict with federal law always prevails.
Well, just 3 days later, Governor Ivey signed both those bills into law. The first, a bill allowing employees to file medical or religious exemptions to the federal employer mandate. And the second requires parental consent for children to be vaccinated against COVID-19 or for schools to request their vaccination status. I asked again, twice, this question of the governor's office. Quote, given the governor's assessment of the bills, is the decision to sign these bills purely politically motivated? The governor issued this boilerplate statement to me. As you can see, it's also on her social media account. Now, in it, she mentions that these laws are, quote, another step in the fight. When we asked again for a direct question to the answer, or to the question I posed to you earlier, a spokeswoman again referred us back to this statement. Pam and Miriam. Powerful stories of survival, Chris, including here in the home of Johnny Bullard, where the clock stands frozen at the moment the tornado came bearing down on his home. Bullard tells us he was by himself when the tornado bore down on his home.
When that thing come through, I heard it. I don't know awfulest noise I ever heard. I made it middle way to the living room here. And you see that stuff right there? It fell on me. And I was stuck. And with no roof, I said, well, I guess I'll drown.
He didn't. His nephew, who lives next door, rushed to find him.
I figured I might end up finding him really, really, really bad. That was in my mind.
Bullard's head still bearing the scars from the storm, but he's alive. The biggest challenge for the people here now like him, what next?
I don't know, buddy. I'm trying to take one day at a time, you know. Every day I think of something new I got to do, you know. And I ain't never been through nothing like this before.
Thankfully, he's not alone. Lifelong friends now here to help him lift the things he cannot.
We're trying to salvage what we can.
And to give him a place to stay.
I can't imagine losing everything like this. I know he has been here forever.
A house that has been in his family's home since the 1960s. This is the family room where he was. The winds here strong enough to even topple over brick chimneys. This is part of the area that the National Weather Service looked at and says because of the damage here, they believe that this tornado was in fact an EF3, upgrading their report, believing that winds here reached upwards of 150 miles an hour. Live in Fultondale, Stephen Quinn, ABC 3340 News.